Well, we'll continue. And bless your hearts, it's such a poignant time. I think Ambassador Hamney was telling me that we lost maybe 61 journalists actually worldwide in the past year. 22 so far this year. So that's very poignant. And of course, most of those are in the Middle East and South Asia. But so that was just those killed in the Arab Middle East, really. Anyway, bless your hearts. But moving on, I wanted to take this opportunity to, well, I think we have to present our first award, or think about it. And the first award is actually, unusually for us, will be a Special Achievement Award tonight. Because we usually put those at the end, but we decided to move things around and do things back to front this one evening. And the nominations this year are quite interesting. We had Al-Akbar from Lebanon, Al-Masri Al-Yom from Egypt, the Hillel Schenker and Ziad Abuzayyad from the Palestine Israel Journal. Also, Man News Agency was nominated this year, and Sky News, which has done unusually well, remarkably well this past year, was also nominated. But you voted, and I'm going to call on our first presenter tonight, who's to actually present the Lifetime Achievement Award. It's Giles Henschel. Giles, where's Giles? I'm going to ask Giles to come up, because Giles is actually an entrepreneur. He started an organization called Olives et al., and my first trip to Syria was with Giles, looking at olives, believe it or not. And that was quite an experience. We were taken by a wonderful man called Mikhail Azar, who's sitting over there. And I'm going to hand over to Giles, who will say a word or two about the first award.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, your lords, ladies, your excellencies, I find it very difficult. I have some notes here. I wasn't actually expecting to have to stand up and follow that memoriam. So please forgive me if I shake a little bit at the start, because I do think it is an absolutely senseless outrage that we should have to see that. But thank you very much indeed, William, Dahlia, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to announce this award. It's a joint special prize to recognise two people's outstanding contribution to peace. As the co-founder and chairman of Olives et al., I'm delighted to be here this evening and to be able to support these awards once again. I think it's the 7th year that we've actually done so. And having specialised in all things olive-related for over 20 years, and after returning from a year-long journey that took my wife and I through all the countries in the Middle East, and as I've been correctly, well, not exactly corrected, but as I've been advised that there is a movement afoot to not necessarily refer to the Middle East as the Middle East, but to West Asia, to avoid the colonial influences. So whether you wish to refer to it as the Middle East or West Asia, I make no judgment. But having travelled through this region, we are more than aware of the political and the economic significance of the olive tree, both to Israel and Palestine. And a fact that was brought into even sharper relief when I visited farms and producers in the West Bank last year in a bid to further trading links in the region. The olive tree has long symbolised peace, as you will all be aware, but has on occasions been used to political ends in a way that I think nature surely never intended. To see some joint ventures between Israel and Palestine developing can only nurture the peace initiative, and one such venture is the Palestine Israel Journal. A hugely powerful, important and influential publication because of its very nature as an Israeli-Palestinian joint venture, and surely, we must hope, a symbol of the potential for a better future. This award is given to its co-editors who have cared for and nurtured this seminal publication. The first winner was an editor of New Outlook, has written for The Guardian, The Nation, Los Angeles Times, the LA Weekly, Israel Horizons, and the Israeli Press. He's a co-founder of the Peace Now movement, served for many years as a spokesperson for the Israeli branch of International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, and is an international advisory board member of the Global Majority Center for Nonviolent Conflict Resolution. The second winner of this joint award co-authored the West Bank Political Lexicon and co-edited the book Islamophobia and Anti-Semitism, together with the first winner. He's a former Palestinian Authority minister and a former member of the Palestinian Legislative Council, and in addition, he also served as an advisor to the Palestinian negotiating team that visited Washington, D.C. in 1992 and concluded the 1994 Israel-Palestinian Agreement. And the winners are
If we want to see peace, we should end the occupation. I think the key word is end the occupation.
We cannot do it on our own. The Israeli and Palestinian leaderships do not have the strength or the will or the ability to generate a solution. We need the help of the international community.
The winners are Hillel Schenker, Ziad Abuzayyad.
Good evening, everybody. I must admit that I'm really excited and confused because until the last minute, I did not know that I would be awarded this honor. And I really thank you, William. Thank you, Lord Stone. Thank all the people who contributed to choosing the Palestine Israel Journal, choosing me and Hillel Schenker for this award. Allow me to say a few things. We had people speaking about the Arab Spring. We are not sure that it is Arab Spring. The way is still long ahead. But I remember that once my mother said to me, if you feel afraid from someone, you give him power on you. So you should never be afraid from anyone. And I would say that the major outcome of the Arab Spring is that the people are not anymore afraid of the regimes. And if anyone tries to kidnap the revolution in these Arab countries, the people has broken the wall of fear, and they will not go back again to the area of feeling afraid. I'm standing here, and we have this nice dinner, and I remember that there are thousands of Palestinian prisoners on hunger strike these days now. They are on their 18th day of hunger strike. And there are some others who started the hunger strike a long time before them. I can't forget that. I can't celebrate anything without having in mind these people who are now in the darkness, in their cells, and then in their isolation, exes going on hunger strike. I believed in peace, and I believed in the people and in talking to each other. And God created us and gave us the talent to talk and to communicate. And I devoted my life for communication and for talking to the others. I remember the story of Rabbi Akiva when he was illiterate and he saw the drops of water dropping on a rock and finally made a hole in the rock. And he said, how come? If the drops of water make a hole in the rock, my mind is not more hard than the rock. And he became Rabbi Akiva. And we believe that the public opinion should be changed. And the role of the media is to keep working on public opinion in order to change the public opinion and put it in the positive direction, in the right direction, because we in the Middle East or West Asia, we don't have any other option. The only option is peace. The Israelis cannot make the Palestinians disappear, and we cannot make them disappear. We are there and we will continue to be there, and the only way is to live together, either in one binational state or in two states. And we Palestinians, we are open for the two options. I don't want to talk much. Again, thank you very much. I have many things to say. Thank you very much.
I would also like to thank Lord Stone and William and all of you who organized this wonderful and moving ceremony. I thought I would have to bring sample copies of the Palestine Israel Journal, but you already did it for us by putting it there.
You have the new issues, the Arab Spring.
Yes, that's true. Every issue is devoted to a special theme, and the latest ones, the Arab Spring and also the Israeli summer protest movement. One very important topic, women and power, which was originally called by we male editors women's empowerment, and the women who were involved in particular, we always have coordinators who are designated, who are specialists, were Professor Galia Golan and Lucy Nusseibeh from Al-Quds University. They said, we don't need women's empowerment. It's as if the men have to give it to us. We are taking power, and therefore it is women and power. So that's what this issue was. And then a third issue, which is very relevant today, we did this originally in 2010, is a nuclear-free zone in the Middle East, realistic or idealistic? The turning point in my life was serving 8 months on the Golan Heights in the Combat Engineering Corps. And it was at that experience is what convinced me that if the earlier generations in Israel, first their mission was to establish a state and to defend a state, my generation's mission is to achieve peace with our neighbors, to ensure a secure future for all of us, for Israelis and Palestinians. I'm very much a follower of Martin Buber's philosophy of I and thou, and I think that that is what we are practicing on a daily basis, one of the few places where Israelis and Palestinians come together on a daily basis to create and produce, even in the darkest times when there was fighting in Gaza and fighting in Lebanon. The members, the 30 members of the Israeli, equal members of the Israeli and Palestinian editorial board said we must come together and we must continue. And I think that, speaking on behalf of both of us, it is not just a question of a miracle, it is a question of determination. We have no alternative. We have to continue. Thank you.